Morning, everyone. Hope we all had a lovely weekend. Let's have a look and see who's in. Morning, Rosemary. Morning, Kilt King. Morning, Kirsty. Anna. Morning, the other Davy. Morning, Rosie. Peter. Jamie Dodger. Nice there in Edinburgh, is it? Get to that in a minute. Morning, Gillian. Morning, Graham Beanie. Morning, Robert the Bruce. Morning, Leibson. Let's say, good morning, everyone. And how are we all doing today? I'm feeling pretty much as per usual. So, May, after and your cats killed your telly over the weekend, you can't afford another one. So, bye, Sky stuff. Well, Sky will rot your brain anyway. But if anybody's got a spare telly out there, you can get your Leibson. Hit me up. I'll pick it up and take it out here. All right. I'm sure if there's a spare telly kicking about out there, Leibson, one of these lovely people will have it. Right, let's move on. Hi, June. Hi, Margaret Hitchens. Lorraine over there in Airdrie. Hi, Linda. Hey, Scott. Barbara. Ange, good morning. George Docherty. Back down the way again. Numbers are climbing nicely. So we'll get this underway. Good morning, Andy Scott Bryan, class action. Okay, folks. Let's get this one underway. It's Indy Truck Davy out the truck and up home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is currently 5 degrees. Apparently the high today will be 6. No rain in the forecast. It's absolutely beautiful out there at the moment. Humidity is at 96%. Wind speed 5 to sort of 12 miles an hour. And there is no pollen count. Pollen count is 0. So that's what the weather's like here in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire. If you want to know what the weather's like where you are, look at your own bloody windy. All right, let's get this one underway. Indy Truck Davy in the 19th of the 1st, 2026. And first up today, we have the Daily Fail, and it has got the most outrageous headline, also comical, that I have seen in my 58 years on this planet. So let's get it up. And the Daily Fail has Tories and Labour demand SNP politicians past and present are quizzed about criminal failures. Ministers must face corporate homicide probe over NHS deaths. John Swinney could be dragged into corporate homicide probe. That isn't just the most outrageous, comically stupid headline I have ever seen in my life. That is what you call propaganda and treating the people like fucking idiots. The only things a politician did was sanction the money to build the hospital. If anybody's going to face corporate homicide over what happened to the patients in the new Queen Elizabeth Hospital when it was first opened, it will be the designers, the plumbers, and the people who put in the water purification system. No politicians. Politicians just sanctioned the money for the build. That's it. They do get progress reports, but most of what's in the progress reports is double fucking Dutch to the politician, because the politicians know an engineer, the politicians know a construction a company, and the politician is certainly not into water purification or plumbing. That is the stupidest fucking headline I've seen in all my years on this planet. It really is. Let's put another headline on that rag right now. I'll make one up on the spur of the moment, shall I? SNP and Green politicians demand that Labour and Lib Dem politicians face corporate homicide probe for hospital-borne infection deaths prior to Nicola Sturgeon becoming the health minister. You see, folks, when Alex Salmond came to power and Nicola Sturgeon was the health minister, hospital-borne infections here in Scotland were that fucking common. She had to actually hire a scientific team to come up with a new disinfectant, a brand new disinfectant, which is now used worldwide to clean surfaces in hospitals. It was a silver spray. Wipes everything out. But that headline could be replaced with that one. Lib Dem and Labour MSPs face homicide probe over hospital-borne infections in Scotland prior to the SNP coming to power. This is a nonsense headline, but what's worse is the Daily Mail knows this is a nonsense headline. The only thing the politicians did was sanction the money for the build. They might have been shown plans as they picked the construction company, but would the plans have made any sense to them? No, it'd be double fucking Dutch. There would be an advisor telling them what would be the best set of plans. This is an outrageous headline, and the rag knows that. And that's what makes it worse. That's what makes it all out lie and propaganda, because the editor of that rag knows that the only thing that politicians did was sanction the money. And it turned out to experts to get on with the job. Fuck. How stupid do these people think we are? What's interesting about it, folks, is not a single politician, Labour or otherwise, was named in that article. Not bloody one. Nay, so-and-so says so-and-so should face a corporate homicide probe. Just Tory and Labour. After that, nothing. Nothing. Just rambling nonsense. Right, next up. That took up a whole fucking page of my thoughts. Next up, we have the eye. Let's get the eye up. What does it tell us? Trade war looms with America as UK and EU unite against Trump's Greenland threat. Well, reluctantly, Starmer has backed the EU. But he has to pick a horse in this one. And your nearest neighbours with a bigger economy is the right horse to pick. Because while the EU are in a position to sanction the US to a massive, massive amount, or even cripple the US's economy by dumping US bonds onto the market, of which the Eurobank, the European Central Bank, holds vast amounts of, Little Britain can do none of these things. Little Britain has no trade partners when it comes to America or Europe. So Starmer's got to back a horse. And it would appear he's backed the right one here. Right. Next up, we have the Looney Rag and Knuckle Draggers Express. Let's put it up. And it has European leaders warn of dangerous downward spiral after Greenland demands. Fears Trump's tariff threat will rip NATO apart. It won't rip NATO apart at all. What it will do is it will force little England to get into a military pact with the EU. The only thing that will change is that America will leave that military pact. That's the only thing that will change. Because the UK will be forced to back the EU. Because the UK has never been weaker, economically or militarily. The UK has never been weaker. That's why they've decided to move the static reserve age from 55 to fucking 65. That's how weak the UK is. We're talking about calling up guys my age, 55 and over, up to the age of 65 if we're fit, because the UK's military's in a fucking mess. But there's hundreds of thousands of vets like me kicking about. Couldn't make it up. But the EU have threatened counter tariffs because they're in a position to. Okay, let's take the Express down. And next up, we've got the Times. And the Times has got a bollocks headline in it. And I mean, it's got a bollocks headline in it. The Times has. Let's go with the first one. Cost of Chancellor's U-turns is 8.2 billion analysis finds. So no being able to cut the benefits of the disabled is title issue would like to. U-turning on the 2-child cap. U-turning on, well, I read the 13 out, the latest one being digital ID, means that the Treasury will lose out in 8.2 billion in taxation. So Rachel's black hole is back. And with Trump's behaviour, that black hole is about to get much, much bigger. And the bollocks headline of the day, PM warns of downward spiral in US tariff row. No, he didn't. He kept his mouth shut. The only thing Starmer has said is that the future of Greenland's for the people of Greenland and Denmark. And he can get away with saying that because whether they're saying no to us or no, the future of Scotland is in the hands of Scotland and our UK. Okay. But that's a bollocks headline. Starmer hasn't warned of a downward spiral. Starmer just says Greenland, Denmark's business, but out America. Starmer's not in a position to predict fuck all. He's sitting in Downing Street shiting himself while the Chancellor's next door in number 11 under her desk crying her eyes out. Can you make it up? Well, actually they can, and they do frequently. Next up should be the Telegraph, I think. No, it's a Guardian. What's the Guardian got? Better get rid of the fucking Times first. Actually, according to this, it is the Telegraph, so where's the bloody Guardian? Should be the Guardian next. Where is it? It would appear I'm missing the Guardian. Give me a wee second, folks. I'll go and grab it. This one's actually the England edition, but it's got the same headline as the Scottish edition. You know, the Guardian that's being sold here in Scotland is too lazy to even change its fucking headlines to a Scottish headline. And it says EU weighs up 93 billion euro retaliation for Trump's Greenland blackmail. And in this wee bit, it tells you Starmer says he'll have more talks with Trump and try and put him off. Because that's all Starmer can do. The UK has never been weaker on the world stage, and it's never been weaker economically or militarily. Well, at least no since the early 70s when we joined the common market. So take that down. See what we've got next. Here's the Telegraph. So let's get the Telegraph up. It's got Europe threatens to strike back over Greenland. And Starmer pledges further talks with Trump. That's the headline. But as I said earlier, Europe's in a position to strike back. Europe's in a position actually where it holds so much in US Treasury bonds, like China, that if they started dumping them onto the market, the US would be fucking bankrupt. The dollar would go spiraling out of control. Trump doesn't understand these things. Academics and economists in America are pulling their fucking hair out because they understand that with huge debt in the trillions, that if Europe and China start dumping US bonds, the US is in trouble. Big trouble. But a lot of people don't understand that. So let's move on. Next up, after the Telegraph, the Rancid, which I don't put up, and it has exclusive First Minister claims Farage wants to axe Holyrood. John Swinney fears for Scottish Parliament if reform wins power in London. Well, Farage has already said he'd shut down the devolved administration, so John's fears have merit. Farage makes no secret of the fact that he doesn't want devolved administrations, he wants centralised power in London. But he is a fucking fascist after all. Fascists don't share power. So Larry, China and Japan hold the majority of US parents. I don't doubt that. But we do know that the EU holds huge amounts of American bonds as well. After all, it's the #1 reserve currency. Okie dokie. Let's see what the Scotsman's got for us this morning. How the hell did that get there? For some reason I did with a Rancid in the side there. Right, the Scotsman wake up call for politicians as money fears fuel dissatisfaction. Poorest fuel overlooked ahead of Holyrood election study finds. My arse. The poorest among us, and remember, we've got a low unemployment rate at 3.7% compared to 5% in our UK. The majority poor are working poor, and the SNP have just given them a 7.4% fucking pay rise. They've got the child uplift for their children. There's no peak fares on trains. There's no road tolls. Free sanitary products, baby box, no dental charges, and no prescription charges, and no eye test charges. The fucking poor have never been overlooked under this administration. Over the 18, 19 years, this administration has actually progressively made life better. That's why poverty's coming down in Scotland and going up everywhere else in the fucking UK. Specifically, child poverty. Nonsense headline. And I don't know who did the fucking study, but I can get a study to say whatever I want it to fucking say. Just write it myself. Yeah. The poor have never been overlooked by this administration, not over its 19 years. Every administration has improved the lives of the people in Scotland. Starting off with Mr. Salmond scrapping university tuition fees and prescription charges. And it's got progressively better for their 10-year council tax freeze, doing away with road tolls, no rail, peak fares, free sanitary products, baby box, extended early learning. You name it. There's been so many social policies put in place, I'd be here all day ringing them off. Right. After the Scotsman, with the National. Let's get that up. National has frightening AI disinformation risk in Holyrood election run-up. With some of the headlines we've seen this morning, they're worried about fucking AI. Should be worried about the whole press setup. It's all corrupt. For the Daily Fail headline to the Times' headline. Bollocks and lies. Bollocks and lies. Don't worry about AI. Worry about the whole media. In fact, Leibson, not having a telly at this point in time might be a bloody blessing. And you'll save the price of your Sky sub. Right, next up we've got the Herald. This one's got a nonsense headline in it, I know. That's why it's a tiny wee headline rather than a full page splash. Post-Indy Scotland would be vulnerable to unstable world. So is everybody else. But this specific claim is that during the period it would take us to join NATO and the EU, we would be vulnerable. I fucking doubt it. We're the last people who would be vulnerable because we've got what everybody fucking wants. Fuel and energy. By the fucking bucket load. Our European neighbours would put a ring of fucking steel on us in a heartbeat just to get access to the resources available here in Scotland. That's a nonsense headline. It's a scare story and it's fucking propaganda. Fucking rag should be sued for stupidity. Or for the way it treats the people as stupid. Wow. Post-Indy Scotland would be vulnerable in an unstable world. Everybody's fucking vulnerable in an unstable world. It's how it works. Fuck's sake. Next up's the scum, and I don't put the scum up. The scum has a celebrity story. Star and Tot's dad still pal. Jesse's love split after twins agony. Engagement off, focus on sick kids. I don't know what the story's about. I don't know who Jess is. I have seen this headline before where her twin daughters have been diagnosed with something. But as you know me, I don't do celebrity nonsense. So I didn't look into the story. I just didn't look into the story. And this next one's a story I didn't bother my arse looking into either. And that's the Metro. Because I don't drink fucking tea. And I don't have a tea break. So if you want to know what reclaiming the tea break's all about, I'm afraid you're going to have to look it up yourself because I had not even the slightest inclination to read into it. I just seen the headline and I thought, here we go. I thought there's too many busy things going on in the world for this fucking rag to comprehend. That's what I thought. Get it done. Get the book shut. Because there's only one thing left for us to look at. And that's the Star. Well, what's the Star got for us this morning? Well, it's got more celebrity nonsense, actually. I don't need to go and get it again. I've shut it in by mistake. But that'll only take a few seconds. I've got the paper reviewing behind me. I've got 3 of them behind me, actually. Right, here we go. Let's get it up. It's Blue Monday. Don't worry, Bez. Be happy. Don't worry, Bez. Happy. And it says, Daily Star cheers you up every day. And apparently this guy here stuck his 2 fingers up to Blue Monday and said, be happy. Whoever the hell he is. As you can see, I'm not really interested in this stuff. But The star's in the paper review, so I'll put it all. Okie dokie. Right, Reagan a Week will be starting off in 5 minutes' time. So if you want to get the news from an English perspective, Young Reagan a Week's a good place to go. I can assure you that. And of course, subscribe to other channels, Daily Blasé, Reagan a Week, Maximilian Robespierre, Graham Eric, Truth to Power, Sir Larry the Cat for a bit of merriment. It all helps. It all helps. Right, guys. The week has started off with some outrageous nonsense in these fucking rags. And of course, these rags are also digitised, and you'll find these headlines online. But some outrageous nonsense this morning. The Daily Fail was right up there, though. 58 years on the planet, I have never seen so much shite printed in the newspaper as that headline. Unbelievable. Anyway, thank you all for joining us again in big numbers this morning. I didn't notice any super chats, but if there was, thank you for the donations to food banks, because folks, if you've just popped in and don't normally watch this programme, all the money raised and made on this channel, we don't take a penny. It goes to food banks and baby banks. Thanks you. Talking of which, and pops Mad Monk with a quick donation. Thank you, brother. And hey, that's no being a lefty. He's actually my brother. But just if you didn't know that and you just popped in for the first time, we don't earn money. Well, we generate money on the channel, but we don't use it personally. It goes straight out to food banks once a month in the form of 3 grants to 3 different food banks. So thanks very much for your kind contributions. Mods, thanks for moderating. As I say, Reagan a Week starts in 3 minutes. If you're of a mind to find out how things are looking down that road today, you can think of worse places to go than Reagan a Week's channel. And you look after yourselves. Be back this afternoon for a wee while, where we'll have a look at Big Orange Man's babies nonsense in a wee bit more depth. Okay, bye for now.